Ramp is mossless. Do I want to put... Unless I put the mosses back in. I can't remember now. Hold on, let me check. I know I never took them out on iOS because that meta is pretty tough in the evenings. It's pretty much all tough. Yeah, we're trying some visionaries. We went up 24 lands, connections, all the incarnates. Yep, moss is back in here. Yippity skippity. Everybody knows Gruul Ramp by now. Just about getting the build somewhat perfect, but let's go for a spin. So we're at 19,815. We got to get to 24k on gold. We can pick up our 400 some gold today and get right up to that 20,000, maybe a little higher. So that's where we're gonna try to go if we can connect to games. I know I've had to grind out against the AI a few days in a row because I get stuck on this screen, the waiting for players to join the match screen, and I can't connect. So let's see if today's different. Let's test the waters. Alright, let's get up open some Twitch channels on here. Make sure everything's like it should be. So commercials on Twitch, commercials on Twitch. Get ready for the creepy echo of my voice if everything's working fine. Dun 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 dun. They want me to play Clash Royale. I don't play Clash Royale. I don't play non-duels games in general. There's that echo. Looks like we're not lagging. So, yeah, throw a party. The no lag party. Who else is on today? Check out the competition for the duels. Right Justice is getting his game on. He's a part of the Steam Showdown. I don't recognize these other ones. There's usually a few new people every day trying out duels, figuring out that the audience isn't huge and the game needs new cards. It's usually what you learn from watching. Although Right Justice, let's see, is he, this might be his tournament match over here. I have to drop in and find out. That or maybe he's just playtesting it. It looks like he's up against Nighthawk. Maybe this is tournament. Or maybe it's just for fun. Regardless, it looks like it's laggerific. I wonder what you're supposed to lead with. I wonder what you're supposed to lead with. Gnarly gets the most damage in, so we'll play for max damage. Yeah, Right Justice has a lag-tastic stream. So, if that is his tournament match with Nighthawk, good luck to both. Hard for me to pick a... I mean, I know who I think will win, and I think it'll be Justice, but, you know, I like Nighthawk. He's a super Timmy for sure. And our opponent over here, you know, tuning into the real action, is going green crazy, stacking those lands, fetching those lands. Alright, so we're going to get airborne this turn is the master plan. We got to go over the top of this deck before too many bad things happen. If it's mono green, he doesn't have a way to punish us for just throwing a bunch of creatures on the table, so that's what we're going to do. If he's mono green, he also has a bunch of hexproof guys, so we have to find good ways to use our links in our adverse conditions. Wild Instincts. You got me. Okay. Yeah, that's a card. So, I'll keep that a secret. Shh, don't tell. We're gonna need another green if we want to charge up our Lumbering Falls. There are plenty in the deck, so I'm sure we'll get there, but it's something that could bite us. That said, like I was saying before, though, this deck isn't going to punish us for flooding the board if it's mono green, so just throw your creatures on the table, say, my plan is out here, and hope you can take it. That's the way it's gonna roll. So 5 mana, do we have an Outland Colossus? It's probably the biggest, baddest thing on the 5 mana block. I suppose, oh, Conclave Naturalists shooting down a Thopters. Okay, it's not bad. That's not bad. It's not great for him. It's just kind of alright. Just alright. And it's gonna give us a pretty good turn. Another blue. Well, we want to confuse him if he is going to Acid Moss us, so we'll get all the duels out there. We will freeze his Naturalist, and we will crack for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We threaten to do 10 next turn, which is a point short of lethal. Drawing a Wild Size might give us closing speed, or an Evolving Wilds would give us closing speed. But we're in pretty good shape. I'm trying to think of what his deck could do. 6 mana could be Bellower, Reclamation Sage, take out a Thopter. Nope, it's going to be Gatecreeper Vine. Obviously, Fog would be a pain in the butt, because time is not something we want to give a deck full of big green monsters. Perhaps he's going for the luck of the Irish and playing green this week for St. Paddy's Day. I said on St. Patrick's Day I'll probably stay home and do a St. Paddy's Day green-themed stream of just a whole bunch of green decks. We'll see. Probably something like that. It'll be fun. Alright. So, he's got a bunch of little blocker dorks. How do we want to manage that? I think we have to let him get his chump on in this case. Yeah, and then we'll hold up conditions. Yeah, I can dig all that. So we'll let him chump this turn and then make him do it again next turn is the plan. Let's see how he wants to block. Is there anything he wants to go for the double block on, for example? He wants to double block the Rogue. Well, I only have 1 Thopter, so that doesn't bother me, and I have a passage. He wants to triple block the Rogue. Okay, so he definitely wants a Rogue dead. He's worried about that unblockability. I don't blame him. But I only have 1 Thopter, so I'm not sure that it's something that he has to really deeply worry about right now. Alright, so we get Renown, we get him to 6, we get Troll number 2, and now we're going to make him really find a way to flood the board, or he's going to lose to the conditions. So, pretty smooth game, pretty much what you would want. And here comes Big So. Simic Tempo is good at punishing opponents who have the plan of blocking with their big creatures. And he got 3 lands, so he might be able to combo this into something. Let's see. Nope. So, we'll lock him out of the game and see if he has Fog up his sleeve. He has Plummet. He has a Plummet for a Thopter. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Alright, so land. I guess he could have Fog, or he could, nah, he has conceded. He's out. So, no need to use the unblockability or any other Lumbering Falls tricks, but we could have cracked for a lot more if we had to. So that was a good game. He didn't have Jotty Offshoot. He didn't have Retreat to Kazandu, which can be the, this deck's kind of pain in the butt. This deck is good at punishing other decks who want to block. It is not good at punishing decks who want to gain life or sweep the board or do other things like that can wreck its strategy. So, got through it that time. Let's get game number 2 with our Simic deck, inspired by the Yondar Simic list from the Steam Showdown, which was in first place after 3 rounds. Wrote about it on my blog, Flower Duels Diaries. Should be a link below if you're watching this on a computer. And so, trying his list with just, I think, like 2 changes. I think I put in Scatter to the Winds over Guardian of Tazim, because I've never been able to close with the Guardian, the big old Sphinx. Just a touch slow and clunky for me. Like, the landfall ability on it's nice, except I don't want to be playing lands after I already have 5. I want to be playing more spells, so it's kind of a make the best of a bad situation card to me. Whereas Scatter to the Winds, you can play a little counterfish. You can hold up Scatter and then play out Bounding Crassus if they play nothing into it, or Wild Size if you need to. It's like, I just love the idea that with 3 open mana, you could be doing 3 different things. You could have Wild Size, Crassus, or Scatter, and they have to choose what to play around. It makes me, those kind of mind games get me excited. I dork out over such things. All right, Reno, 2843. What you got up your sleeve? What are you bringing on? Oh, this is tempting. I really want to play a 6/6 Woodland Wanderer. YOLO. It really could lose badly in a lot of ways, but you gotta do it sometimes. You just gotta do it sometimes. To start thinning the deck. Yeah, if we draw a 2-drop, we want to be able to play it. But 1, 2, yeah, depends what we draw. So, we want a forest. And in case you don't know, I like to crack on my turn because far too often I'll forget what I'm supposed to fetch, forget to fetch at all, or get lagged out when I try to crack on their turn for the perfect concealing of information play, which is magic technical perfect, but in my opinion is not worth it in duels. In duels, just crack your dang land. Of course, sometimes you're in those situations where you're dodging Acid Moss, and it makes sense. I'm not telling you not to do that. Just turn 1. Turn 1, I'm not going to worry too much. Alright, so we definitely want to play this next turn. And blue, green, green. So I want to play a tapped land. And I think I want it to be the Falls. No. Yeah, I do, because I have Snapping Gnarlid in the deck, which could benefit more from the Evolving Wilds. So, actually having to think about my darn lands. I don't play Simic Tempo very much. It's very fresh to me. It's not my style of deck. Never been something I'm very good at. The aggro control decks, the quick threats, and, minor blocking disruption. Never been my thing, but here we are, trying to do it for you guys. I'm going to give up on the Wanderer and instead go for the Crassus. Ambush Crassus. Ambush Fish Lizard. So what's our opponent got? They've got Gideon. That's great. But that's okay. We'll kill it. Just you wait. I've got this all planned out. I know what I'm going to do. He's going to plus Gideon. He's scaredy pants. You can't attack with that yet. He's scared of losing it. Fish Lizard. Tap your Gideon. Why? 'Cause I can. I think that's funny. Now I have a choice. I can go Wild Size and tap and kill Gideon that way. That's probably best. Yeah, that's best. I mean, I could have also played like kind of this Crassus game and got another Crassus onto the table, but there's just too much opportunity for Gideon to start generating too much value. No reason to let him have more of it. We are not really on the front foot, though. We've got to be cognizant that we're kind of taking a slower path than we'd like to. And I'm sure that our opponent has big scary things they can do. Although they seem like a bit of an ally deck. Ob. Yeah, a Planeswalker ally deck. That's what we got here. If he's going to kill the Crassus, we're fine. Yep, now we can turn right around and kill Ob with Lumbering Falls. And then we've probably taken out the best cards in his deck. I have to make absolutely sure I do this right. I don't know how many times I've tapped my Lumbering Falls in this game trying to attack with it. Or activate it, I mean. I'm sure you get what I mean. Alright, so those are very likely the two best cards in his deck. He could still have like Nissa or something like that, maybe his own Woodland Wanderer, but I mean it doesn't get much better for him. And he's got Acid Moss. What is this deck? It's Ally Moss Walkers. Maybe it's just supposed to be Abzan good stuff, and he, for some reason, thinks, I can't really explain it, he some reason thinks that the healer is good stuff. Alright, let's focus up. This doesn't come in untapped, but it does get Woodland Wanderer up to 6. This can go fetch an island, so that does come in. This can come in end step. Or we can play Woodland for 5 right now. It's kind of tough. Alright, I'm just going to go for the max damage and shove the Wanderer down his throat. Just push for the biggest threat possible. Again, saving the wilds to go with the Snarled. And next turn we'll have 5 mana, so we can either attack with Lumbering Falls or put these out. Or do this and this. We'll have good options. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's see what he's got. The Wanderer's in the house. And he has a life gain vampire. Does he have another healer or something? An emissary. So it is like allies in Abzan with other maybe good stuff, I guess. Interesting. Let's attack and see what he wants to do about this. He might just take it. I'd probably take it, yeah. Okay, Snarled. Rootbound leaves us this as an option, and ball back in your court. Again, taking a much slower approach than I like to take in this game with this deck, but he just had, he had a really powerful start. He had a constructed standard type start with Gideon and yep. If he wants to attack with those, I think that's fine. Let's see what he does. He has Indestructible, just have to remember that. Yeah, he had he had the dual start, Gideon, Ob, Acid Moss, stuff like that. Alright, you got me. Passing turn, let's do the lockdown. No blocks for you. Now, what's the way to do the most damage over 2 turns? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we can leave mana up for Crassus or Wild Size. If we put 5 more mana into it and take all those options away, we can do 3 more. But I like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I really like leaving these up. But we can still play Warlord Rogue this turn. Okay, I know what I want. I know what I want to do to him. It's the way to inflict the most pain this turn and next. Because with all that life gain stuff in his deck, there's sure to be, some shenanigans. So I can't really do the rogue without taking the shields down on Crassus. But I do leave up Wild Size. Yeah, we'll just get it down there. It puts 4 damage on the table. Crassus puts 3, and the Crassus can tap down a maybe blocker. So he needs a big play. What's it gonna be? Okay, that gives allies Indestructible. That gives first strike, that won't do much. So I think that's Oh, he has a flesh bag, okay. So what do we want us to sacrifice? 1, 2, 3. So he'll be at 8. That gets 5 damage through. That makes it 7. Tap one of those. Block, block. That's game. Okay. Oh wait, I forgot to account for the flesh bag. So we'll see. And he scoops. Well, that's too bad. I don't know. I bet I can. Let's see. Can we find the win? That probably helps. Alright, so Crassus taps 1, Lynx taps the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're good. We got it. Not that complicated. Yondar jumped in here to share some experience from the Right Justice stream between himself and Nighthawk. Talk about two awesome decks going head to head. So Yondar's down there in chat. I am running Simic tempo in honor of you, sir, and trying to do it proud. It really isn't my style. There's never quite been decks that I can do good with, but so far so good. 2-0. Oh, look at that. I win 2 duels with a deck I built in the deck builder. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That is certainly a quest I think I can handle. I was watching PP Squeeps the other day. He was trying to win 2 games because his task was one of those archetype tasks, and he was trying to win 2 games with like a Dimir ingest deck from the Deck Wizard. It was just kind of sad. It was so horrible. You know, it's one of those that you start with 4 of those that Storm Crow, that flying 1/2 Mist Intruder. Yeah, that's it. And Culling Drone. Oh man. Well, decks that don't, decks that don't draw a lot of cards or get very far in the deck are prone to mana issues. Too much or too little. You have pretty much no sifting and no way to control it. I think your only fetch is, if you have Nissa, that's like the only way to fetch a land, so these decks can have mana trouble. There's no doubt about that. You're at the mercy of the shuffler, and, all decks are to some degree, but when you put cards like Gatecreeper Vine or the new Sylvan Ranger, that has an effect. When you put in Eldritch Visionaries, that can have an effect. And those smoothing things do add up. It's one of the things I like in my decks, and another reason why I probably never really get into these decks. But we'll keep this, and we are once again at the mercy. We are at the mercy. We'll see if we can sprinkle some of that CGB luck magic on the Simic Tempo deck and get it drawing exactly what you need more often. Alright, we've got critters. The goblins are here. Okay, so we got a choice. It's tempting to just hold up Disperse and hope to hit an aura, but I think we're just supposed to, hey, we got there. We got that land. How about that? See how that works? All I have to do is play the deck, keep the sketchy hand, and I get there. I'm just blessed that way. But it is tempting to just hold up Disperse, because I have a feeling Gnarlid will die. There's 8 little burn spells in that deck, 8 shock effects, and there's one of them. That makes perfect sense. That does not surprise me. And now he'll have a Renowned Goblin that can't be Ambush Viper Lizarded. But let's try to wait. It's a really, like a Renowned Goblin is a very enticing aura target, so maybe we'll be able to hit it later. Actually, Yondar, he says I need to be CGB to win with this deck. You've been winning with this deck just fine. I'm not sure if I can win with this deck. Let me just try to make that clear. So, Yeah, we'll drop the 3/3. Do. So there are upcoming changes. Cards like Acid Moss are being moved out of the format, and there's some others as well. Perilous Mirror being a big one, and I've talked about this aplenty. I can talk about it some more. It's fun. Basically, I'm happy that they rotate any cards. I've become really used to rotations in Magic. We get them every, I think it's 6 months now in Standard. In Paper Magic, rotations are really common, and I love them. I want more rotations. So anytime that they want to rotate any cards in duels, I'm all for it. It makes the game more interesting. Not just you have to figure out how to use new cards, but you have to figure out how to use old cards better. So my take on any of the changes coming up, great. What will they make better or worse? I think aggro actually gets better without Mirror. I think Thopters and Jeskai tokens probably lose the least, the absolute least. I think they're both in great shape. Now, am I supposed to turn this Skyrider L sideways? Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, it is great that there is some rotation happening. It is great that some things in duels are actually going to change, as opposed to, because there is a very real chance that the next set, Oath, it's still very Ulamog centric, so there would be ramp. And Shadows, it's not clear how strong the set will be. We've only seen a handful of cards, so we don't know the power level of the set. So it's not clear that anything would change with regards to the set and how it works. So, all right. Yonder, you didn't run Evolving Wilds in your deck? I thought that was pretty clear. I thought that was a definite thing you just do. So let's see what our opponent's up to. He's going to hit the Goblin with that. Okay. So how do we want to play it? We can disperse the Goblin on. We're just gonna get the Crassus down. We're gonna tap the Goblin, since that represents the most damage, and we'll take the 3 from the token. That's fine. But yeah, man, Evolving Wilds plus Snapping Gnarlid. It's the combo, yo. How do you not run the combo? I didn't even look at the mana base that you had when I was building this deck. I just threw them in there. So on my ramblings, we've got comments like, rotation is nice if it changes the archetypes. It just swaps some creature types, and the decks still fundamentally play the same. Maybe. You could be right. I wouldn't absolutely bank on that, though. I think that some things could change a lot. Alright, so we can do 6. We can tap. I think we go for the power. We're at 13. We might take one more big hit, but from there we can freeze it out. Although, 7/7. Yep, It's clear that, changing like 5 or 8 cards or whatever they change isn't going to vastly warp anything, but you don't know what's in the new set yet, and neither do I. We have a good look at Oath. We can guess what we're going to get from Oath, but we don't know what we're going to get from Shadows. And at least now, playing against Ulamog isn't abysmal as it used to be. It really isn't. I tried a few games with Acid Moss out and Explosive Vegetation in, and those games are a lot more fun. Like, they are so much more fun than the previous versions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Land, please. Nope. That would have been lethal, I think. And that's an attack for lethal, so he has to chump there. So then he's left with a 2/2. And I have a 1/1. Yeah. It's like that, y'all. And attack with all that. Okay, cool. I really don't care whether or not we get brand new archetypes. I'm happy if we just get if we just have to change the way that we play some of the existing decks. And obviously Acid Moss, the removal of that card changes the format. You can make more ambitious mana bases. You don't have to, you're not kind of stuck in 2-color decks to be competitive. You also can play more expensive spells, and you can play creative mana bases that don't, like, you can run 1 waste and 4 evolving wilds to cast your colorless spells, and you can play other lands, like the man lands. The man lands have only been okay, they haven't been dominant, and it's because of Acid Moss, really. It's all because of that Acid Moss, because Acid Moss just nerfs man lands and it wrecks Awaken lands. Like, Awaken as a mechanic should be a lot cooler than it has been. Converge as a mechanic. So all these things are different because Acid Moss is leaving. So already that's a change. I mean, it may or may not make new archetypes okay, but it definitely makes archetypes that we haven't been able to play so far better. Whoa, 20,000 gold! Hype! And Perilous Mirror is the same type of thing. You couldn't run like a deck full of grizzly bears, just a deck of tutus, and expect to beat Perilous Mirrors. You have to run stuff like Adverse Conditions, like I just did. So like Green-White just has a horrible time with Perilous Mirror. Boros has a horrible time with Perilous Mirror. And those will be better now. Sultai Aristocrats, or any of the Aristocrats decks, are not as good without Perilous Mirror, because it kind of functioned as their removal spell in a box. So that's going to be different. Just a few small changes to cards that are played all the time does make a huge difference in the format. I mean, look at bans in Paper Magic. They ban 1 card, or 2 cards in the case of the recent Modern, like Amulet Bloom, Splinter Twin, and it just has ripple effects. Sometimes you only need to touch some of the more prevalent cards, and in these cases, like these Star Dex cards, they're all common. So anytime you touch a common in this game and change it, or introduce a new amazing common to this game, it opens up a lot more possibilities than if you messed with other cards. Alright, so that's going to put a wrap. I think we did 3 games with Simic, and now we're going to move into doing some games with Jund.